Well, what a treat it is. Billy, don't lose my number. We said hello, goodbye. One more night. No jacket required. Take me home. Two hearts. Groovy kind of love. Easy lover. Another day in paradise. Anything in common with those words? These are just a few of my favourite songs, and they're all written by the same man. Please welcome, direct from London, Phil Collins.
Good evening.
How are you, Phil?
I'm very well. I thought you were trying to construct a sentence there, Steve.
I know. I wasn't going very well about it, though. You must be pretty pleased. You've done a lot of charity work with sort of Band Aids, Live Aids, and Nelson Mandela. The release of Nelson Mandela, does that thrill you?
Yeah, it's obviously a big step in the right direction. I mean, for a long time now, South Africa has been threatening to do things like this, and it's about time they did it, and it looks like it's starting to happen. I just hope it doesn't happen too quickly, that's all.
What happened? What do you mean by that, mate?
Well, you know, it's too much too soon can be too dangerous sometimes, that's all.
Yeah. I had a few oozos last night with Peter Allen and all hell broke loose. Mate, playing in those all-star bands, I mean, you've got names like McCartney, Knopfler, Elton John. What's it like playing with those guys?
Well, for me, it's great, because they're personal sort of heroes of mine to varying degrees, you know. I mean, it's a great opportunity. On one of the Princess Trust shows, I played I Saw Her Standing There behind McCartney, and I was able to play just like Ringo, and that's a great thrill for a one-night stand, you know. But they're all... some of them have become sort of pals, and some of them still remain sort of distant. I mean...
Which are the ones that are... Phil, which are the ones that are hard to get to know, the ice-cold ones? Any secrets on any of them? Any dirt you'd like to spill? Come on, Phil.
No, I mean, the McCartney, I think, although I kind of know him, you know, I think it's very hard for him to be able to deal with people, because everyone, when they're talking to him, sort of says, this is Paul McCartney I'm talking to, you know, and I think he's very aware of that, so it becomes very hard, whereas someone like Elton John is very, very relaxed and doesn't really give a toss about anything, you know.
Yeah. You've got a reputation of being a Mr. Nice Guy, but... You know, there must be some dirt. I mean, what do you do? You get upset. What do you do, Phil? Do you rip things up, or do you throw furniture through windows? I mean, say something nasty about you. Show us the real Phil Collins.
Well, I can't really on it. If I was to actually do what I really want to do, then you'd be banned. I mean, I actually I've got another side to me. It starts to sort of piss me off a little bit that I'm thought of as being...
That's good, that's good.
It's a start.
Does that feel better, Phil?
I feel very clean now. No, there is that kind of Mr. Nice Guy, which is actually fair enough. I mean, I think, you know, I'm only like everybody else. You know, everybody is innocent until proved guilty with me. I don't particularly go around raping and pillaging my way across the world, but you know, it's when it's construed as being goody-goody. That's when I say, hang on a minute. You know, like I've got my other side to me, which is which nobody knows about and nobody will know about. Thank you very much, Steve.
Yeah. Mate, you've got a couple of... I read about a film deal coming up, The Three Bears, with Danny DeVito, Bob Hoskins, and yourself. Is that based on Goldilocks and the Three Bears?
Yeah, well, the idea came to me a while ago. I was, even before Buster, I was being compared to Bob Hoskins physically. This was in a music review of a concert, so God knows what they were really struggling to find things to talk about, obviously. But... and then on another review in America, they compared me to Danny DeVito, which I thought was more interesting and slightly crueler. But anyway, I just thought, you know, when I was doing some press for Buster in England, someone said to me, what are you going to do next? And I said, for a joke, I said, oh, me and Hoskins and DeVito are going to do a film like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you know, a remake. And the next day they printed it, and I saw the pictures, and, you know, and it didn't seem like a silly idea anymore. So I've got in touch with everybody, and we've got a director that wants to do it, Penny Marshall, who directed Big, and
With Tom
she's
Hanks,
a very
fabulous film. Yeah.
Very good director. And 20th Century Fox are scripting the film. We're getting it written right now, so it may surface in a cinema in a couple of years. You know, it's
big question,
everyone's very busy.
Big question, Phil. Who is Goldilocks?
Well, originally, the obvious person to go for is the Kim Basinger sort of Jessica Lange.
Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. But I think the way the script is going, I think she'll probably be an older woman.
You're going with Bette Davis?
Not quite that old. Not quite
wise
that
bit
old.
of casting, Phil. Mate, the Oz tour, the But Seriously tour, starts on March the 13th here. Have we got any surprises? What can we expect to see, mate?
Well, I mean, I suggest that everybody gets there at the beginning, I mean, before we start, and doesn't leave until we finish, because there's quite a good beginning and ending. What happens in the middle?
The middle you're fiddling with, yeah.
No, it's a very good beginning and ending visually. Musically, we're taking the best of the 4 albums, my 4 albums, and also things like you mentioned, Easy Lover, Separate Lives, Buster stuff. So it's kind of it's about 2.5 hours of music probably. It's quite a long show, but hopefully people will enjoy it. We've had a great time rehearsing it. We're on our last day today, and we've got a wonderful band, big band, 12-piece band, and everyone's playing great, so hopefully it'll turn out all right.
You've got a big entourage coming. Is it 35 people travelling with you? 35
well, I would think there's probably more than that. I mean, I keep meeting people I don't know, you know. There's 12 people in the band, plus obviously the crew. Then there's the lighting crew and the sound crew, and then there's babysitter and the wife and the baby, and
the cobbler, the tiler,
candlestick maker, you know.
Yeah, mate. Have you got any unusual requests when you travel? Like, I mean, are you sort of one of those guys who has to have caviar in the dressing room and champagne? I mean, let us in on a secret.
Well, I do insist on a dressing room.
No, you'd be in trouble if you work for this network.
I don't really know. There's nothing specific. No, I mean, sometimes you sort of say, what do you want? You really have to dig down and say, well, you know, I like Japanese food, you know, so I'm very fond of sashimi, you know, which is the raw fish without the rice.
Yep.
And so sometimes you get a sushi bar that's opened up in your dressing room backstage. That's quite extravagant. But I mean, usually you have to really find something that nobody expects, just to sort of keep them on their toes, you know. But usually it's very normal life on the road. It's a lot more normal than I'm sure you'd like to believe.
Yeah, I have these great visions about sort of, you know, all these groupies backstage and, you know...
Yeah, there's that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mate, with all your work for charity, is there any chance that we could see Sir Philip or Lord Collins of Sussex?
I don't know. There's a standing joke in Genesis that everything I do is just leading me one step closer to my knighthood, but I don't... No, I do a lot of work with the Prince's Trust. In fact, I'm doing something for them this afternoon, and that brings me into contact with the HRHs, you know, but that's to say Prince Charles and Princess Diana.
Yep.
I don't have any contact with the other lot, and...
the other lot being...
Well, the rest of the royal family.
Oh, sorry.
And we are in Windsor at the moment, and we're only a stone's throw from Her Majesty, and she hasn't called me once.
Is the is the flag fully up, or what are we talking today?
What is that flag fully up?
Yeah, as opposed to yours.
I can't see the flag from here, Stephen. But it is quite early, so anything could happen.
Yeah. Who's your favourite performer? Your favourite performer?
God. Well, I'm very fond of...
Would you like some thinking time, Phil? We're fairly flexible.
Sorry. Well, I don't know if I've got one. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gabriel and Sting. They're favourites. I mean, when I'm at home, I listen to Sinatra albums sometimes, you know, so I mean, it varies. It's across the board.
Yeah, really. I'm a Sinatra buff. What's your favourite Sinatra song?
Well, my favourite album is actually the Live at the Sands with Count Basie. That's my favourite.
Oh, yeah, fabulous album. Yeah. The double album, the black one. Yeah, great album.
Well, I've got it on something. You're taking a piss out of me, eh?
If you knew me, Phil, you would know I'm a big Sinatra fan. Bobby Sinatra. You were in the Beatles film A Hard Day's Night, were you not, at 13 years of age?
Yes, well, this is sort of legend has become. It's gone from. I mean, the actual story is that I actually was paid amongst 150 other kids to scream at the Beatles when they were in the theatre at the end of that film, and I've never seen me, although I've seen some of my friends. But now, rumour is sort of, legend has it that I starred in Hard Day's Night with the Beatles.
You were in fact the fifth Beatle.
Exactly, yeah. And there's one scene in there with Ringo by the side of the river with a little kid, and I'm sure a lot of people think that's me, and it wasn't. I've never seen me in it. It's just that people say, well, what did you do when you were a kid? And I say, well, I did some acting. I was in a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, same kind of thing. Billy Fury's I've Got a Horse, Hard Day's Night. I did a lot of that kind of stuff,
Did you actually do the film, Phil? Let's come clean. Were you anywhere near the set, Phil?
I was, yeah. I was, yeah.
Oh, you were?
Oh, I was. I was definitely there. But you just can't see me.
You spoke of Genesis before. Are they going to reform? There was talk about them reforming, but you should know better than anyone.
Well, we've never split up, I mean, most bands like us, they kind of split up, do a farewell tour, and then they reform a couple of years later and do a reunion tour. But we don't do that. We just basically take a couple of years away from each other and do different things, which, my stuff is one of the things I do. The acting is another thing. Yeah. Rutherford's got his mechanics. So we don't actually ever split up. We've never split up since we formed. It's just that we've just taken long rests.
Yeah. What do you do to unwind? I mean, apart from collect fairly exotic signs in the background, what do you actually, what do you do to unwind?
Well, I've got a model railway in my cellar, which I started a couple of years ago, which I find good fun, building the scenery and painting the people and my little world. Which sounds like a weird hobby until you go into a model shop and you find hundreds of other people doing the same thing, actually.
Yeah?
Then,
are they all dressed normally?
I've got, we collect tin toys, clockwork tin toys from the 50s, jukeboxes. We collect lots of stuff. Anything that's more than one of, my wife collects, that's for sure.
You love England. I mean, you've never really, that's always been your base and will remain so, I understand. Why is that? I mean, what do you think of Maggie Thatcher, for starters?
I didn't know we were going to get political here, Steve. Well, she seems to sort of, I don't really know, it's very confused. I mean, she gets so bloody-minded sometimes that you wish that she would just listen to a bit more reason. But then on the other hand, the other parties are a shambles, so I don't really know what the alternative is.
Have you met her?
No.
I was just wondering, because that hairdo...
She's another one that's never called me. After all those years, I held up a picture with one hand as well. Never mind.
Phil, we're looking forward to having you out here. We're about to lose the satellite, but you're out here. Your tour starts on the 13th of March, 1990. That is this particular year. And, mate, when you're out here, will you come in and have a chat with us? Yeah!
It's very nice of you to ask me. Thank you very, very much.
That's great. Would everyone please thank Phil Collins? Thanks a lot, Phil. We'll be back with more after this.